Hello and welcome. In this video clip, we are going to complete Lab 1 of the vSphere Install Config Manage course. Two tasks, one logging on to our student workstation, the second one is installing the vSphere client. Right now, I have my student workstation VM full screen. I'm going to log into that. Simply click on the Send Control-Alt-Delete, choose my user, type in my password, and we're in. It's that easy. Task 1 is complete. Second task is going to involve installing the vSphere client. The way that we do that is start navigating through our file browser, going to open the C drive. vCenter 5.5 is the actual distribution. This is essentially an extracted ISO. Open that, open expanded, and I'm going to launch autorun. I'll say yes to user account control, and we'll see the install screen which will come up. I'm just going to minimize that window. Here is our install screen. Over on the left, you can see all of the different options that we can install from here. We want the vSphere client, that's about in the middle, this one. I'll select that, I'll say install, and we're basically off. First thing that's going to happen is it's going to extract all the files necessary. So take a minute or so to do that, so we'll just wait for it to complete. Almost there. And we're ready. First thing we need to do is specify language. English is good. Launches the install shield wizard. Once that opens up, we'll be prompted for a couple more items so that it can start the installation. Right, okay, we will next pass the welcome screen, accept the license agreement. The default path for the files is fine, and we will let the installation begin. Now it takes a few minutes actually to go through and configure all of the libraries. You can see it's starting to configure the .NET libraries and such. I'm going to pause at this point in time and come back once we are ready to provide some more information. See you in a few minutes. And we're back. The installation is finished. All we have to do is click on Finish. And I'm also going to exit out of this installer app. Notice over on the left, we now have the vSphere client logo. I'm going to open that so that we can connect into our ESXi hosts. Once I've launched this, it will come up with the login window. It's going to ask us what we want to connect to and then credentials. So I'm going to specify our first ESXi machine. That's going to be ESXi1.itss.local. Username is going to be root, password, secret 55. We'll hit enter. We can see that it's connecting. Once it's connected, it will pop up and tell us that it is loading the inventory, and then we'll be able to start working. Now, we also get a prompt. We use SSL encryption for the secure communications between the client and the server. It's basically giving us this prompt here because we're using a self-signed certificate. It's not something that's signed by a certificate authority, and therefore we have to tell it that it's okay to connect. I'm going to hit this checkbox that says install the certificate so we don't get prompted every single time. And then we have this button that says ignore, which might sound kind of weird, but that's what we click on to go past this point. And it is squawking about something. Let's try that again. There we go. Not sure why that timed out. Now you'll notice that we haven't got any licenses installed yet, so it's prompting for an evaluation. That's okay. Just click on the OK button is all we need to do. So we're in, we can see that we've got inventory over here. We're going to look at that information in a little bit in the next lab. We're good for now. In order to get out, File, Exit. Also, before finishing up this lab, I'm going to connect to our second ESXi host as well, just so we've gone through that process. So again, launch the client. Instead of ESXi 1, I'm going to specify ESXi 2, and then also root and secret 55 to log into that one. It's going to come up with the same SSL prompt that we did before because this host also does not have a public CA that signed the certificate. So I'll say install the certificate and ignore. It's going back through the connection process, as you can see down in the bottom, and it's now loading the inventory. So same prompt as before with the license. I'll say OK. We're good. Now connected to ESXi 2. Just going to log out of that. And that's it for this video. Hope you found it useful. See you next time.